Hello everybody and welcome to episode number 58 of Diehlman at Halftime, the NBA podcast that tops all others. I'm your host Larry Diehlman. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome aboard, and if you've been a loyal listener, welcome back. We have much to get to today and not a lot of time to do it. We have 5 sections that we'll get into, a general overview of the NBA this week, and our usual highlight, lowlight, random stat, and game of the week. Let's get to our content for the week. Going once, going twice, sold. The Boston Celtics are about to be under new ownership. Symphony Technology Group managing partner Bill Chisholm has agreed to purchase the Celtics for $6.1 billion. This price tag will surpass Josh Harris's $6.05 billion purchase of the Washington Commanders in 2023 for the most paid for a North American sports franchise. It also surpasses the record for a control stake in an NBA team of $4 billion by Suns owner Matt Ishbia. Boston business leaders Rob Hale and Bruce Beal Jr. are part of Chisholm's group, with Hale being a current Celtics shareholder. The deal is set in 2 parts, where Chisholm would acquire at least 51% of the team pending the NBA Board of Governors approval. This could potentially come in the summer. The Celtics are under current ownership group Boston Basketball Partners LLC, led by Wyc Grousbeck and Steve Pagliuca. Chisholm asked Grousbeck to stay on as CEO and owner for the next 3 seasons. The Philadelphia 76ers could be one step closer to the offseason. Forward Paul George is being shut down for the remainder of the regular season, and this could result in the rest of the general season too. George recently had injections in his left adductor and left knee. With the Sixers plummeting in the Eastern Conference standings, it might just be a formality. He's had multiple ailments throughout his first season in Philadelphia. With him and Joel Embiid's injuries, this season has been a disaster. George signed a 4-year, $212 million deal with the 76ers last summer. Finally, the New York Knicks might be getting one of their stars back from injury soon. Jalen Brunson, the team's star point guard, is expected to be sidelined with an ankle sprain through late March or early April. This was according to NBA insider Shams Charania. But the Knicks are hopeful Brunson can play a few games before the postseason starts. Head coach Tom Thibodeau said his star is out of his walking boot and doing light shooting. Brunson has been out since March 6th. This episode is entitled Transfer of Power. So, who's raising eyebrows at the moment? Let's get to our highlight, the LA Lakers. Big market teams always attract the attention of fans and media alike, especially when they're title favorites. This statement is always true with the LA Lakers. The Lakers are 43-27 and 4th in the Western Conference. LA has been floating around the play-in tournament in recent years, and most fans point the finger at former head coach Darvin Ham. However, since the Lakers stole Luka Doncic from Dallas, their championship aspirations are high. With the purple and gold, Doncic is averaging about 27 points, 8.7 rebounds, about 8 assists, and 1.8 steals per game. LeBron James is still putting up LeBron numbers at 40 years old. Don't be surprised if he does this at 50. Okay, maybe not, but still. Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura are great options for the Lakers. While Hachimura and Jackson Hayes aren't going to replicate the production of Anthony Davis, who was traded for Doncic, they're serviceable. Although LA's current injury report has James and Hachimura on it, it shouldn't be a concern as they get ready for April. James and Doncic lighting it up in the playoffs? Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. Their next game is tonight, Monday, March 24th at 7 o'clock. They will be on the road to face the Orlando Magic. Let's go to our low light, the New Orleans Pelicans. If you look at the NBA standings right now and pick out teams that should start planning for next season, the New Orleans Pelicans should be near the top of that list. The Pelicans are 19 and 53 and 14th in the West. It's been a tough year for the Pelicans, with injuries being a cause. However, when they're healthy, Zion Williamson is the star in the Big Easy. Williamson is putting up 24.6 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per night. Dyson Daniels, who was traded to Atlanta in the DeJounte Murray deal and who's also in the Defensive Player of the Year running, said of his former team, quote, "That organization's cursed. Every year there's something new. I'm happy I'm not there anymore. There's something down in that water down there or something." Oh my. At the trade deadline, New Orleans pulled the plug on the Brandon Ingram experiment. Ingram, who is seeking a max contract extension, was shipped to Toronto. The Pelicans have a decent core of C.J. McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy III, and Jose Alvarado. But it's hard to gauge their ceiling with their issues at staying healthy. New Orleans only has 10 games left in their season, including tonight. Let's see if they can provide optimism for their fan base. Their next game is tonight, Monday, March 24th at 8 o'clock. They will host the Philadelphia 76ers. To get more insight into our low light this week, we have our 10th guest on Diehlman at Halftime Season 2. Let's get into it. So for our 10th guest of Season 2 on the Diehlman at Halftime podcast, we welcome Sam Prince. Sam is currently a junior at Rowan University pursuing a sports communication and media degree. He's a play-by-play broadcaster for the Delaware Bluecoats, the G League affiliate of the Philadelphia 76ers, a sideline reporter for the Philadelphia Rebels hockey team, and a part-time camp counselor at play-by-play sports broadcasting camps. Sam is also intern for the Wilmington Blue Rocks, the high A affiliate of the Washington Nationals. Sam, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Larry. Let's roll.
So, Sam, I wanted to get your thoughts on the New Orleans Pelicans as they look to bounce back next season. Their season pretty much over at this point. They're near the bottom of the Western Conference. So, first of all, what are your thoughts on Zion Williamson? He's a great talent, but his injury history has held this team back. Should they keep building around him, pull the plug and trade him? And remember, he is signed with New Orleans through the 27-28 season.
Well, Larry, I feel like Zion Williamson is a player of what ifs with him. And coming into this league, he was such a big what's he going to be? Is he going to be a top five player in 2 years? Everyone had the highest expectations of him because of all the hype. And Zion Williamson is playing actually pretty well these past couple years. But again, you mentioned it, you perfectly said injuries. The question is, should they keep building around him? I feel like they have to, just because they signed him through the 2028 season. But I would explore trade packages for him. If there is a suitor where it gives you just a king's ransom for him, I think you have to take it. You got to cut your ends because at what point are you gonna do well the next couple of years? Are you just tanking at this point? Are you just trying to go for mediocrity? I really don't know what the Pelicans are doing, and I thought this would be a much better team this year. I thought they would be a playoff team. I feel like if you have the same type of season next year, then you definitely need to trade Zion before it gets ugly.
Yeah, and this whole situation, like you said, him coming into the league, you have Zion number one, Ja was number two in 2019, and it's just been, like you said, like what ifs with the Pelicans. You know, the Pelicans were like, oh my gosh, we won the draft, and he's just been injured and injured and injured. The seasons he's there, oh, he's great. And the seasons he's not there, it's not so great. It's the same thing I feel like with the 76ers with the Embiid situation. It's like, yes, he's injured, but if you trade him, what's your direction? Like your contention window is over, you're tanking, you're just in mediocrity. So I think the Pelicans, like you said, they should keep on trying to build around Zion, but in the next year or so, if it's just the injuries keep piling up and the Pelicans aren't going anywhere, I would definitely start exploring trade packages. So next, the Pelicans have a core of players like DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, and CJ McCollum. outside of Zion, is this a core for contention, or do you think they need more pieces in the immediate future? Because they got DeJounte Murray from the Hawks, and Dyson Daniels is now a Defensive Player of the Year candidate with the Hawks, even though he was over here not too long ago. Herb Jones, a defensive stopper. McCollum's pretty much a scorer, but he's getting a little older. So, what's your read on this core?
Yeah, Larry, I feel like with this core, are you trying to win a championship or are you trying to capture the flag? If you're trying to capture the flag, it's a great core. If you're not, I don't know what you're doing because I feel like if you're going for contention, Zion Williamson, we've seen from his health, I feel like he can't just be a number one star. I feel like he needs to be a number two just because of the health. And I don't think he can carry a team by himself. I don't think anyone can. And going for his core, this is what he has to back up. He's not making it far out of the Western Conference.
No, and obviously you mentioning capture the flag, referencing Cooper Flag over at Duke. Pretty much everybody's trying to tank for him if he decides to go pro this year. And I feel like with this core, there's pieces, but I don't know like what they're looking at in the immediate future. I mean, we'll talk about it in a moment, but the ceiling with this core, like I just mentioned, McCollum's age and Herb Jones is not really somebody who's going to go get you 20 points a game. DeJounte Murray, maybe not on the same level right now as like Dyson Daniels, who he was traded for. And then you have the injured Zion. So it might be good for like a little bit, but for a total, we're going for it. We're gonna win it all. I don't know if this is a core you can get behind. Number three. So Brandon Ingram was traded to the Toronto Raptors at the trade deadline. Do you think it was smart for the Pelicans to not give him a max contract? Remember, he's only 27 and he fits this youth movement timeline that they have. I know there were camps like pay him, no, don't pay him. He seems to be all right now with the Raptors. He's still injured. I don't think he's played yet with the Raptors. What are your thoughts on that? Should they have traded him?
Larry, I was definitely caught off guard when I saw this trade at the trade deadline. I feel like with this trade, with the Raptors trying to say, "All right, let's still play for something," and the Pelicans have it in the back of their mind they're going to capture the flag, and if they do, they keep Zion. I will keep on saying their reference, and I feel like they know the honeymoon with Zion's over. They know the Zion Williamson era in New Orleans might be over the next couple of years because if they don't start winning the next year or two, they might just want to get draft picks and just say, you know what, let's be smart here. Let's try to get Zion a championship. It's not going to be with us, and let's just tank the right way and let's rebuild the right way, and we'll just get a lot of draft picks.
Yeah, so I think maybe it was a good idea for them not to pay Brandon Ingram because you have the rest of the core and paying, one or two players. And I go back to the Sixers because we live in the area. The Sixers right now, 96% of their payroll is on the bench. So you'd only paying like one or two guys and the rest of your core is just blah. So Ingram maybe going to the Raptors is a good move for him. And the Pelicans just looking to get picks and clear up some cap space and maybe strike gold in the draft and free agency. And we'll see what happens with that. So to wrap up, what do you think New Orleans' ceiling is for next season? Obviously, you had some hope for them this season. They have a decent core at the moment, pending free agency and the draft. So what do you think we're looking at here? Playing tournament, a top six seed that would avoid the play-in tournament. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think their ceiling next year is the planned tournament because you look at the Western Conference next year, and let's name some teams. Next year, will they be better than Oklahoma City Thunder? No. Will they be better than the Lakers? No. Will they be better than the Rockets? No. Will they be better than the Nuggets? No. The Memphis Grizzlies? Probably not. Golden State Warriors? No. Clippers? No. T-Wolves? No. Suns? Probably in the same territory. I think Devin Booker's going to stay. I think it's all but gone for Kevin Durant's time in Phoenix. And Sacramento, who knows with them? And the Spurs. So I just named you 11 teams, and 10 of those teams were teams in the plan right now and in the top six in the Western Conference. So their ceiling is a 10th seed. I do not have that much hope for them. Unless they go on some run or there's injury real season next year, I doubt this team will be in play-in tournament.
Yeah, I don't know what their ceiling is. Like, I don't think they're going to be a top six seed. I don't know. I think it might have been last year or maybe 2 years ago. Do you remember it was like the middle of the season? The Pelicans were the number one seed at one point, and then Zion got hurt, and then they just took a free fall. I'm not saying they're going to do that again. I mean, you look at the Thunder and the Nuggets right now, no one's stopping them. The Lakers, them too, with Luka
That,
Doncic
that just
now.
sorry to interrupt. That just proves how valuable Zion Williamson is when healthy and such a
Oh, yeah.
great talent he is. But that's another thing. It's all about health and availability. And if you have those questions with your star player, I don't know how much longer they can be on your team. If you're thinking about trading this person and player in for Zion, let's just say, you want to trade this person now or right after a good season because look at the Sixers. I know you're a Sixers fan. Look at Embiid. I mean, I think Embiid's a Hall of Famer. I think Embiid's one of the greatest players to ever play in the city of Philadelphia for any sport. But it's all about when is he healthy? When is he healthy and does he deliver? So, and you probably should have traded him last year after his MVP year. You could get a King's ransom. I feel like the Pelicans are making the same mistake as the Sixers.
Yeah, it's just a weird point for the Pelicans right now. I think they can make the play-in tournament. Maybe they could hover around that 9-10 game. I think maybe the 7-8 game would be like their absolute ceiling. I don't think right now they are a top 6 seed, but I think the play-in tournament would definitely be a good goal to shoot for them. Again, I'm not saying they're going to escape the play-in tournament, get the 7 or the 8 seed or whatever, but I think that is definitely their ceiling for next year, and we'll see if they can build around Zion. So, Sam, thank you for joining us today, and hopefully we can get you back on in the future.
All right, thank you for having me on.
Let's head over to our random stat. Getting a double-double in basketball is quite common, especially in points and rebounds for big men. Triple-doubles, while rarer, have become common with players like Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic. Quadruple-doubles are almost unheard of. However, one player came awfully close to a quadruple-double on Saturday. Against the LA Lakers, Chicago Bulls guard Josh Giddey had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 17 assists, and 8 steals. 2 more steals would have given him the milestone. Only 4 players in NBA history have recorded a quadruple-double. Nate Thurmond in 1974, Alvin Robertson in 1986, Hakeem Olajuwon in 1990, and the most recent one, David Robinson in 1994. It's been 31 years since Robinson's. That should tell you all you need to know about how rare it is. Giddey has flirted with triple-doubles throughout his time in the NBA, averaging about 14 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 6 assists for his career. In fact, he has 24 double-doubles and 4 triple-doubles this season alone. After 3 seasons in Oklahoma City, Giddey was traded for Alex Caruso. Despite going from a championship contender to a play-in tournament team, it's good to see Giddey get solid reps on a young Chicago squad. Maybe one of these days he can become player number 5 on the quadruple-double list. Finally, let's go to Game of the Week. For this week's Game of the Week, let's go with the Memphis Grizzlies at Oklahoma City Thunder. This game is on Thursday, March 27th at 8 o'clock. This will be a clash of 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference, even though Memphis is 16 games behind Oklahoma City in the standings. To be fair, Houston is second in the West and 13.5 games behind the Thunder. Oklahoma City has been solidifying themselves as the team to beat in the postseason, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They've already locked up the top seed in the conference. Despite Memphis's Ja Morant being sidelined with a hamstring issue, the Grizzlies have stayed afloat in his absence. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane will make sure of it against the Thunder. Oklahoma City should get Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren back from injury soon, and they've been dominating without them. I'll go with the Thunder 116-106. Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on social media. I have 2 X or Twitter accounts and 2 Instagram accounts. The podcast accounts are under @Diehlman_NBA for both X and Instagram. My personal X account is @LarryDiehlman18, and my personal Instagram is @Mr_Sports18. They're also in the description on Buzzsprout, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And thank you to Sam Prince for being our guest this week on the podcast. Remember, you can follow him on X and Instagram @SamThePrince14. And don't forget to spread the word about Diehlman at halftime. See you next time, fellow Hoops fans.